Oh, that was very quick. Okay, welcome back to the FPL segment of the shows. There are a lot of problems here as the producer, but this is our FPL show. We talk all things FPL here. We've got Tepo in because he had a seemingly good weekend. He was top of the log halfway through. Gents, how was your first weekend? I'm going to start with Cyrus because Cyrus had some very interesting things.
Well, look, I'll put it this way, right? I had a better weekend than I expected. I think I got 71 points. But the one thing that I didn't do was listen to that voice in my head that always tells me stuff. And that voice had said, pick Bruno Fernandes. He's going to play. They're playing Leeds, and they'll definitely score points. The problem was I looked at other fixtures and I thought, okay, hang on, I might be able to squeeze some value out of some Chelsea players. And I broke my own cardinal rule. Never, ever pick with your heart. Pick with your head. And, it was pointless having the likes of Ben Chilwell there. I mean, what was I even thinking?
Dude,
what was I even thinking?
No.
Wahid, what went wrong?
Well, firstly, before Wahid tells us what went wrong, what did you score, Wahid? I honestly don't know. I'm not picking. I honestly don't know.
I'm bottom of the league. I got 31 points.
I'm shocked.
Okay, so the mistake was not picking Bruno or Salah. I kind of...
My captain got more points than your whole team, bro.
I don't know. I think I was trying to be cute. I was like, no, everybody has Bruno, everybody has Salah. Let's go. I went midfield heavy. I think I had Grealish, I had Son, I had Maddison, I had Sancho, and I had Havertz. And I thought that with those five, they were all points-worthy players. And then up front, I had Ings and Iheanacho. Iheanacho didn't start, so that was a problem. So I thought my side was quite good. I just probably missed the boat there on not having Bruno or Salah.
So Wahid, you got a total of 31 points this week. Well, you're working with your team name expected to lose, but I'm sure you'll be better next time round. Wow. Okay, gents. So I asked you guys to send me your teams, your selections for the week, because that's how we do it on Cheap Seats. We talk about the transfers in and transfers out, your differential and your captain of the week. I'm just going to go in order of what I see here. So, Dean, you're up. Let us know why you're taking these players out.
So, Bertrand out is unfortunately tested positive for COVID. Just before game week 1. So big thing in FPL, you obviously can't afford to have anyone in your team that's not playing. So I picked Bertrand on a differential point of view. Luke Shaw was in and I went for Bertrand. I think apparently he's on free kicks, on corners as well. And I think he was a good signing in that Leicester squad. So with him testing positive for COVID, he's out straight in with Luke Shaw. It's a very easy change. The differential, and I think people are sleeping on Ben Rama. Ben Rama I see that Ben Rama Antonio partnership very similar to the Kane Son partnership that we saw last season. Ben Rama had an excellent preseason, and you can see the way that they played against Newcastle on Sunday. They have a connection now. They know where each other's going to be, and they are really playing well. So if you don't have Antonio, go for Ben Rama. I'm playing a 3-5-2 this season, so for me, Ben Rama in the team is a very easy choice. So he's also only 7% owned, so I'm going Ben Rama. And I mean, they play Leicester this season, but after that, they got Palace, Southampton. So it's not difficult run of fixtures, and I'd go for him. And then captain, Salah, I'm going to stick the captain armband on Salah for the next probably 3 or 4 weeks, to be honest. You can probably push that to 6 weeks. It's got Burnley, then they got Chelsea, but then they got Leeds, Palace, Brentford. I mean, Salah scores, Salah will always score, and you're pretty much assured there. So if you just want to leave it on him, do that. There are some other choices, which some of the other guys have mentioned or will have picked. So that's just what I'm doing. But yeah, Ben Rama, guys, that's the big one. Don't sleep on that oak.
I agree with you, and he's only at 6. His price hasn't increased. I think he's a very
crazy.
good one. Temple, my man, this is your moment. You are an FPL dude. Ever since I've known you, you do FPL. Your changes to this week, differential and captain. Take us through what you were thinking.
I forgot who I had. My differential. Let's start with my differential. I think I had Reguilon. I had Reguilon. I think someone mentioned it. The Nuno Nuno as manager is probably going to solidify the defense, and they also have very nice fixtures. And on top of that, you have Reguilon, a very attacking fullback. So all the clean sheets that Tottenham just pick up there from their fantastic fixtures, if I could actually just find them. But yeah, all the clean sheets that Spurs will pick up, Reguilon is going to get a lot of that. That's Wolves
so
away.
You chose, TT, you chose Richarlison in, Gundogan out, Mo Salah as your captain, just to help you.
Yeah, yes. Okay, Richarlison. Guys, Everton's fixtures. Go look at those fixtures. Fantastic fixtures. And stay away from Everton defense. Stay away from it. They concede goals like crazy. Calvert-Lewin, Richarlison, guys, those two have had chemistry. They looked so good. And their fixtures, you can't ignore, guys. Don't ignore fixtures. That's like the key thing in FPL. If the fixtures are good, I mean, listen to this. It's Leeds, Brighton, Burnley, Aston Villa, Norwich. Then it's Manchester United. Then West Ham, Watford, Wolves. And like the fixtures are just so good for people that constantly get attacking returns. And especially at this part of the season, Calvert-Lewin last year blew up, guys, blew up. And it was this part of the season when everyone is scoring goals. These guys love scoring goals. Then I had my differential captain Salah. It's difficult to choose between Salah and Fernandes. You should have both of them in your teams. Their fixtures are so good and they always score goals. So right now you have to choose between the two. And I chose Salah because we need to remember that home games are a thing now. They haven't been a thing for a while, but now they very much are. And Salah at Anfield, yeah, I think that it's going to be magical. It's going to be great. So yeah, first game at Anfield as well. The vibes, guys. Oh, you must see how the players are feeling with the crowd there. It's like, yeah, it's just fantastic.
True.
So yes. And then there was one more player. Did I get all my players? Oh, out. Gundogan, out. The thing about Gundogan, you're not sure if he's going to start. You don't know where he's going to be. He also looked like he pulled up with the dislocated shoulder. And there are so many better options at 7.5. Mason Greenwood, one of them, because he's probably going to be in the front of Manchester United, so he's going to get a lot of those. Diogo Jotter as well, in the middle of that Liverpool trio when Firmino's not there. I think that's how Jurgen Klopp is going to use him. So they're just better options for 7.5. Get that guy out your team. Yeah.
And AB, you had a good weekend. So who are you taking out? Who are you putting in?
Yeah, so I mean, look, 89 points, great start in comparison to the rest of the league. Not as much, but I'm aiming for my 65 a week, and that's how you win a league. So, yeah, look, transfer in Paul Pogba. Man he's been given the creative license by Ollie to say, you know what, Paul, we're going to play you on the left. We're going to play you through the middle. Bruno could be a false nine. You both go and play. I think it's a fun gamble, again, especially against Southampton. Hence why I'm captaining Bruno. United scored 12 goals against Southampton last season. United were impeccable on the road. I feel like Southampton's fans are going to be loud, but yeah, I back United to win there, especially after scoring 5 goals. My issue was Chelsea. Chelsea are the new city with this rotation, so I put in Kai. I'm feeling like taking him out because Pulisic suddenly is starting, and Pulisic is cheaper than Kai. So I think, especially given the ownership of Pulisic, he could be a good differential. That being said, Pulisic could be out of this matchday squad. I think against Arsenal, though, any Chelsea player could score, so we don't really know. As long as you have a Chelsea player,
and score, bro.
Yeah, as long as you have a Chelsea player, you're going to get points, though, because it's Arsenal. and it's Arsenal at the Emirates, so you just know Xhaka's going to be playing with that ball close to the box. He's going to pass it, and it's going to be given away. And
He's gonna pass.
Oh, you guys are going to love my picks. Okay. Hey, Cyrus, your picks. You had Richarlison. Pascal Gross is one I'd like for you to explain. You've kicked out Timo, and you captained Mo.
Okay, so Mo Salah I'm going to keep as my captain. I figured, if there's one thing, Liverpool are going to beat Norwich. That's generally what they do, home or away. And now they're playing, I think it's Burnley at Anfield. And Mo Salah should be a good one to either create a couple of goals or at least get one himself. Chances are it'll be a pen, so you can generally count on him. Richarlison was one I didn't expect to play because he'd been at the Olympics, but he did, and he looked fairly good, so I'll pull him in because I generally like to have one or two of the Everton guys in there. Lewin was my guy last season, and I think we've sort of gone off the boil with him a little bit, but the reality is I think he'll probably get a couple of goals as well. But I think Richarlison's a fairly good player to select. Pascal Gross, for me, was a really interesting one because you remember how I talked smack about Brighton. They're absolutely horrible. They are a dog show. However, having said that, getting that win in the first game was unbelievable. Primarily because they had to dig really deep for that, and one of the main players for them in that particular case was Pascal Gross, and I think he's the kind of player who Brighton will be leaning on heavily in the next couple of games. But their next game is against Watford, which means that they should, and they're at home, they should have a better performance at home against a newly promoted team, knowing that Watford have had a shock win to start the season, so they won't take their eye off the ball and they'll say, right, Pascal, go for it. And so that was my reason for picking him as a differential. I might also switch my formation a little bit because I went for a 3-4-3, but I might go 3-5-2.
Okay, double striker there with Cyrus. Wahid, apologies, I don't have your photo. It was a little bit of a late call there. You brought in Richarlison, you're taking out Kelechi and Nacho. You're bringing in, Kai Havertz is your differential, and Danny Ings is your captain. Take us through that.
Yeah, so Ings against Newcastle, I think, is an interesting one. So also, I don't have Bruno or Salah, as is well documented on the show. So I have to pick from what I have, guys.
Please just play the wild card.
Play a wild card, please.
Okay, I'm keeping that wild card till the end of the transfer window. But basically, so that was so Ings was just basically the best. Like, I was like,
best
who's got an easy-ish
He's probably the only one in your team that's going to play.
It's like the under 11 Cs, guys. Like, who wants to captain the side? I had to take out Ian Nacho because I'm not sure he's going to be starting much. I think that last season he was really good in Vardy's absence, but Vardy seems to be back and well rested, so I'm not sure how much Ian Nacho is going to start. So I think, I think he's going to be dropped for now. Differential, I think Havertz. I saw AB was opposite. He's taken Havertz out, and I'm almost thinking that
Havertz is going to play.
I think Havertz is going to play this week. He didn't start last week, and I think what you might see is long term. I think people are going to have to start avoiding Chelsea midfielders because I think what we might see is a Tuchel rotation similar to a Pep rotation, and it's going to be a case of you never know who's going to start. So, for example, Mahrez. He's a player who, when he plays, he's a great pick. But the problem is he starts one of every 3 games. He doesn't start every week, so it's very difficult to pick Riyad Mahrez. And I think that long term, we're probably going to see the same with the likes of Havertz, Mount, Timo Werner even, is that there's going to be so much rotation between those 3. And Lukaku might be the only one who's like sort of in that attacking sphere of the Chelsea side, starting week in, week out. So for now, I think because Havertz sat out last week, he might be the one to start. And he's playing against Arsenal and Ben White. So he's probably a good pick there.
They're going to push him up. I can almost guarantee that Kai Havertz is going to start against Arsenal. I think that they're going to try and throw the big guns. I wouldn't be surprised if Tuchel moves Werner to the left flank and Pulisic doesn't start either. it would not
that's
surprise me.
that's in my
Okay,
mind. That's what
just-
was going to happen. Is that
just cancel
Havertz
what I
right
said
is,
then. Cancel what I said.
Hashtag Tuchel tweaks. I'm telling you, Callum Chambers is in for the fright of his life when Timo Werner's going to run around him. So I just don't know if Kieran Tierney is going to have a similar situation with Kai Havertz. But we'll figure it out. And we'll find out what Thomas brings out at the Emirates. They did beat us in preseason. That's a big indication. My tweaks, I've decided
who didn't beat you in preseason?
Yeah.
Watford, actually. We beat Watford. Which
What-
was
big
I would love to see a match between Arsenal versus Wahid's fantasy football team. I think both teams would lose.
Guys, my
And the first
fantasy
double
team is-
loss in history.
on paper, my team isn't bad.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's not. It's you went the other way. It was typical
Yeah.
Wahid. It's like I don't spend 12 million on guys. I'm only
No.
gonna spend over not
Guys,
over
guys,
10.
it's simple. I kept it up real bad, guys. I overthought so hard. I overthought that trick so badly that I left out Bruno and I left out Salah. That is like depth in a Champions League final, just overthinking. It's like playing Jack Grealish left back.
Yeah, so this is what I did. So this is my changes for this week. I had a good week last week. Emil Smith-Rowe is out. He was on my bench. He wasn't in my starting 11. I'm kicking Emil Smith-Rowe out. I'm tired of Arsenal players. Next week, Ben White is on his way out. He looked cheap as a 4.5, but there's no way. I brought in Ismaila. Oh, wait, should be the other way around.
Other way
about to
around.
say-
I was about to say, why are you
Sorry.
getting Saw out for Smith Rowe?
No,
Dude,
sorry,
like-
sorry, guys. I
What is going
apologize.
on?
I apologize to everyone.
Was this
I just
Wahid?
got. No, this probably is. But anyway, transfer in Ismail Assar. Kicking out Emil Smith-Rowe. I really do like Ismail Assar. He's only owned by like 4% of the people in FPL. I think he's a really, really good option. He scored this weekend. Everyone was trying to find out which Watford strikers are going to play. Ismail Assar, Emmanuel Dennis. That kid, that guy, that Nigerian striker, he's the guy. I thought him and Kucho would have a tussle, but Emmanuel Dennis is the guy. If Kucho's going to come off the bench, you can still get some points at 5.5. And then I brought in Brian Mbeumo. With the way Brentford play in that 3-5-2, Mbuemo's just like Saw, he's a hybrid. He's listed as a midfielder, but plays up front. And if Tony's not scoring and Mbuemo's scoring, you can also go Sergi Canos, but he still plays a little bit deeper for my liking. But Mbuemo's that number 2. So if you want some Brentford exposure, I think that's the guy. Because all of you guys, because all of you guys chose our friend Salah and Bruno and Danny Ings as captain. I went with the other guy who I think should actually be costing about 11 in this game. That's Human Son. He's playing Wolves. Nuno's probably going to want to just bash them in one last time. And if Son's going to play at the top of that castle, it's another hybrid for you in midfield, scoring goals and getting the points for a midfielder rather than a striker. And I loved what I saw from Spurs over the weekend, even though they did like dominate that right-hand side of the field because of Japhet Tanganga. But yeah, I think Son at the top of that castle is value. And because I didn't go Bruno and Salah, I went Salah Son. I think he made me look respectable this weekend, and I'm very thankful to Human Son. One last thing, gents. Are there any other captaincy guys that you're thinking about looking at the fixtures this weekend that we didn't talk about?
Tony could be one. Brentford versus Palace, because I mean that Palace defense,
Look bad.
it's bad. It's
Yeah, I
very
reckon
bad.
Palace are in for a long season. I'm not sure if Pereira is what they're expecting. I think we could be on another De Boer situation here at Palace.
And City are playing Norwich. Is there a revenge?
If you know who's going to start, let us know. bro.
Captain, if you want to
Who
say
plays?
Captain Edison, that's the only guy you know who's going to start.
Watch
I
the
reckon
place happen.
a good differential captain would probably be Diego Jotter. As I said, he's playing down the center for Liverpool. He might not get 90 minutes, but he does get minutes. And in those minutes, he usually scores. So for 7.5...
Yeah, he's one of those players.
Yeah,
He's one of those players
yeah.
who scores but just doesn't look that great. I just watch him. I'm like, this guy is not that
So he's
good.
perfect for your FPL team then, Wahid.
Because you're just the land of 7.5s in your team. It's like anyone who's 7.5 is in.
Guys, Wahid is like he's acting like Ed Woodward for his fantasy team. He's like, no,
miss him so much.
No, you don't need Bruno, you don't need Mo. You need like a budget player. You need a Daniel James in there.
I don't know. For a differential captain, I actually am tempted to say Sadio Mane could be a really good pick
Against Burnley.
for this. Yeah, look at Liverpool and look at how they perform. And whenever Salah does well, teams like, okay, Salah, let's go for him. And Sadio Mane then gets a little bit more hope and he goes for it. So I think Sadio Mane could be a really good surprise.
One last question for you all. Is Lukaku coming into your side this week or are you going to bring him in next week?
Wait for Chelsea fixtures to get a little
Game
bit
week
better.
7.
They get better
Game
instead.
week 7. That's
Game
when
week 7. There's something
That's
about
when
an
the fixtures
Ivan
change.
Toney Brentford type of situation. If you bring him in for the next 4 fixtures, take him out, bring in someone else, because they have Palace, Villa, Brighton, and Wolves. Then after that, they've got Liverpool, West Ham, Chelsea, and Leicester, so you can take him out for that. And then after that, after the 24th of October, they've got Burnley, Norwich, and Newcastle. So you can get like rhythms with Brentford type of players if you're ever looking into that. Cool. That will bring us to the end of our show. Thank you very much, guys, for joining. Remember, please do, most importantly, and I'm going to cover everybody's faces there at the bottom, like, subscribe, and also hit that notification bell. But most
Just straight over
importantly,
me.
have a good week. Enjoy. Remember, we've got rugby. The Argentina take on South Africa on Saturday at 5 p.m. I'll be on commentary, I think, with Dave. But yeah, if you love what we do at One World Sports Radio, just hit the subscribe button. But thanks, gents. Have a good weekend at FPL. Wahid, all the best with your land of the 7.5s. I hope you break the bottom. We hope you beat the bottom. But outside of that, everyone else, thank you. And good night, goodbye. Le sale. Kakahiso.